Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that is endorsed by Thurman Sparky Plug. This is Lost in the Midcard. I am your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on Twitter at JBHuskers, and my co-host, as always, Matt Black at Raw F Showtime on the Twitter. Matt, how are we doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. How you feeling today?
Doing good. Couple of good nights of drinking, so
I saw ROH Live this weekend, so we both had fun things to make this weekend pretty eventful.
Yeah, and then add in the time change, and it's really going to suck tomorrow morning, I think.
Damn time change. If you guys aren't in the United States and you didn't have to deal with the time change yet, more power to you. It sucks. And I feel for you when you have it in a few weeks.
Yeah. Well, we say tomorrow morning as in Monday morning, as we always record on Sundays for the Monday show. But yeah, Monday will be pure hell getting up for work, I'm sure.
Sucks.
Yeah, why can't we just always fall back? And then, but then of course, 12 years later, the day would be the night and the night would be the day, so that doesn't really make sense either. So
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, it'd add a little spice to the world, I guess. But anyways, our top story of the week: head WWE trainer Bill DeMott resigning from the WWE amid allegations of racist, homophobic, and abusive behavior. DeMott's been with the WWE for quite some time now, and had released a statement on Twitter on just a couple of days ago saying that he has denied all the allegations against him, but to avoid any embarrassment, he is going to leave the company. And the WWE did accept the resignation. Matt, what do you think about DeMott leaving the WWE, and then also, do you think these allegations are true?
I mean, as far as him leaving the WWE goes, it had to have been done. There was way too much pressure on WWE right now for them not to act, and I truly believe this was more of a situation where WWE sat down with Bill and they were like, hey, listen, you can either quit on your own or we're going to have to let you go. And I think WWE gave him the benefit of allowing him to, quote-unquote, leave on his own terms and allowed him to walk away instead of having to deal with a public firing of being wished the best in his future endeavors. As far as the accusations go, there's way too many of them from way too many different people for them not to hold any water. And while some of the physical acts in the ring are understandable and related to from some older trainers, the racist and the sexist comments and the blatant bullying that he was doing to these people, not okay. And, eventually it was going to catch up to him, and it looks like it caught up to him in spades this week, and he got what was coming to him.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. How many years has there been a Be a Star program in the WWE?
Exactly.
Not necessarily what they want to hear, and obviously DeMott resigning is probably the best thing for both him and the company, because the company would have been through the ringer with especially being affiliated with Be a Star, and then with all of this coming out. I guess, is it true that some of the newer guys, some of the bigger stars, such as Finn Balor, is it true that they've been kind of treated badly too, and that's what's kind of made light of it, do you think? Or
I don't know, because there hasn't been anybody very prominent saying this. If you look at the last week of people who have experienced anything from him firsthand that have come forward and actually acknowledged it without, hiding behind anonymity, it's been Ethan Carter III, the former Derek Bateman, who came out against him on Twitter last week. It was a very serious accusation, being having him being beat on his head when he's concussed. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? That shouldn't be acceptable on any standards. And he's set in TNA as far as I'm concerned. He's one of their main event players over there.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, he hasn't lost a match yet, has he?
I don't think so. Not by pinfall or submission, anyway.
Yeah, he was bragging about that last week on TNA, which we'll get to later. But yeah, I don't think he's lost a match yet. Yeah,
so I mean, there's really no reason for him to come out right now and say anything like that and lie. In my opinion, anyway. I mean, he has absolutely nothing to gain from it. He's already moved on from the company, and he's already doing his own thing. Mm. So I mean, the fact that I don't see how he would have absolutely anything to gain at this point from adding his 2 cents in if it wasn't legitimate. I just think there's been too many people talking, and apparently, the understanding that I'm hearing, everybody was super happy when he was fired or let go, or however you want to put it. The movie director Max Landis, who did the movie Chronicle and is working on a very interesting wrestling inspired movie coming out this year, tweeted 2 days ago. He said, and I quote, "The texts I'm getting from my friends from NXT right now are basically along the lines of, 'We got Bin Laden' levels of emotional release. Very surprised that in an industry full of giant unstable bruisers and in former martial artists training, no one ever just beat DeMott's ass." So there you have it. I mean, if that's what the current talent down there is saying, it very much means that while a lot of these accusations are coming out from around 2012, 2013, right as, Johnny Ace was being pushed out and Triple H was coming in terms of who was in charge of the developmental territory. Mm-hmm. It still sounds to me like something still had to be going on for the people down there to be that happy that he's no longer there.
Yeah, he probably had to straighten his shit up when Triple H took over, so...
Yeah.
Be interesting to see how if this unfolds any further. I mean, obviously Bill DeMott came to fame with the original Tough Enough show, and also was involved with the latest or the last reboot of Tough Enough about 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's what brought him back to the company, actually.
Yeah,
because he was gone for a while, and the latest Tough Enough actually brought him back.
So it'll be interesting to see kind of who that head trainer is going to be down there.
Well,
obviously
they've already put a head trainer in charge. A temporary position, and it's Matt Bloom, aka Jason Albert, aka Albert, aka Tensai, whatever you want to call him. He's taken over DeMott's position in the at the Performance Center right now. Honestly, I hope the dude gets it full time because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
I see no reason why he couldn't be. I see no reason why he couldn't take over that position full time, and it's cool that that Triple H and the WWE see enough in him to give him a chance to prove that he can take this position full time.
Yeah, and I mean he's been good on the mic too in commentary for NXT. So
absolutely,
he's definitely done a good job post wrestling career for sure. Let's switch gears to our other top story of the day as the Samoa Joe talks continue on Talk is Jericho. Last week, Samoa Joe was a guest on the show on Podcast 1, and Joe wanted to let the fans know that there have been discussions and there are negotiations going on right now between himself and Triple H. Of course, we mentioned this last week where Triple H was following Samoa Joe for a couple of days and then stopped following all of a sudden, presumably to send him a direct message. And obviously Triple H is a fan of Joe, a fan of his wrestling style. He is 35, but I mean, he's probably got a few, at least 4 to 5 good years left in him. He's been in the ring for quite some time. And Matt, you got a chance to see him firsthand at the ROH TV taping. He looked a little better than he did on Impact.
He did. I actually got to sit front row for that match. My friend who wasn't a big Samoa Joe fan. Her name's Brandy, if you're listening. Hey, Brandy, thank you. Gave me her front row ticket and said, hey, go watch Joe front row. And, yeah, I got to see the whole match front row. I'll be on Ring of Honor TV when Joe fights O'Reilly in a few weeks. And he definitely looked more slimmed down than he looked in his TNA run. He looked crisp. The match was hard-hitting. It was great. And, yeah, I was super ecstatic to see how much it looked like the fire was reignited in Joe again. And the match was freaking awesome. And if he's in negotiations with WWE right now and this works out, he comes down to NXT, holy crap. It's going to be amazing. As of right now, Samoa Joe is not accepting any independent dates past April 25th. So take that for what you will. I mean, if he's not accepting any bookings past that date, something might already be in motion that we don't even know about yet. So for all the doubters that said when Joe left TNA that there was no way he was coming to WWE and there was no way WWE was interested, well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
And, that also goes to the fact that, there's a stigma that Vince and Triple H are not signing TNA guys. So if Joe is coming over, that
changes everything.
Yeah, that close to after a run in the WWE, maybe that opens the door for some guys like Magnus or Austin Aries,
Bobby Roode.
Even AJ Styles. I mean, right now that Sting is in the WWE, do you think AJ Styles is the best wrestler to not be in the WWE now?
If they sign Joe, AJ Styles is definitely, I would put him at the top of my list as my dream WWE signing of someone who's, not contracted to TNA. Right after, if you're talking somebody on the TNA roster right now, I'd say Bobby Roode, I think would fit really well into the WWE.
Yeah.
But right now, as far as people not contracted to TNA, yeah, AJ Styles would absolutely be number one on the list if Samoa Joe goes there. And AJ has definitely proven in the past year that there is more than enough life after TNA for what he's done in New Japan, what he's done in Ring of Honor. He was easily my number one non-WWE talent of 2014, and I expect him to have another amazing year this year. So, yeah, if you get Joe in there, and you got Joe there talking to Triple H, and you got Sting, who I know Sting's a big fan of AJ. So if Sting and Joe both get in Triple H's ear, heck, dude, we might have the phenomenal one coming to WWE too.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because Sting was with TNA for so long, but he had been away from TNA for, was it about a good year before he signed with the WWE?
I think he left in January of 2014, and then he got that deal signed with 2K later that year for the video game, and then one thing led to another after that.
Survivor Series, obviously.
Yeah, so.
But with Joe, I mean, this is real fresh,
this is super fresh. I mean, Joe's still on TV right now.
Yep.
He's gone, but he's still on freaking TNA television. It's insane.
Is his time with TNA wrapping up with the Manchester run, or what?
I don't know. I don't know how many more weeks of TV they have taped. I think they might have. It might be 2 weeks, or it might be one. I know they're I think they're wrapping up soon.
Yeah,
so,
Orlando, they're taping in Orlando next week, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
they haven't.
Or it might be late this week.
Yeah,
actually.
So once the Orlando tapings start, the Joe era is obviously over, and I'm going to be very curious to see how they explain that with the Beatdown Clan, and as to why Joe has just suddenly vanished. Because him and MVP are super good friends in real life, so I can't really imagine MVP burying Joe on his way out the door. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to handle that.
They might just have a simple statement by MVP in the ring, just saying that he's gone on to other things, maybe, and they just don't really have any kind of kayfabe way of writing him out. But
maybe they should say like the powers that be fired him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or
It'll be interesting
to hurt the Beatdown Clan or something like that. So
yeah, it'll be interesting. Speaking of Joe being in Ring of Honor, let's transition to the pay-per-view that occurred here on March 1st. The Ring of Honor 13th anniversary pay-per-view was a phenomenal show, and Matt was able to catch it live. I was able to kind of catch up throughout the past week here, bits and pieces, and I agree. And I was a TNA outsider, but I was a lot more familiar with TNA. I'm a complete outsider when it comes to Ring of Honor, and we don't get the ROH tapings here in Nebraska, so I'm gonna maybe have to try to make it a point to be able to get on the website and kind of watch their tapings, because it was definitely a good show, a great card, a lot of familiar faces as well. The first match, Matt Sydal, as many of the WWE fans know him as Evan Bourne, took on Cedric Alexander. This was kind of a very athletic contest, and not really a heel or face here. I think Alexander's the young up-and-coming star. Sydal is definitely has definitely been established. Is Sydal a heel or a face?
No, they're both face. That was definitely it was a mutual respect, high-paced match, to kick off the show right.
Oh, there were some moves that were just amazing between those two guys, and it definitely, I think, the perfect opener for the ROH show.
Oh, absolutely! It started the show in a big way, and I felt it helped carry momentum throughout the entire show.
The Matt Sydal went over Cedric Alexander in that match, and then we got another new and upcoming superstar, Moose, big 300-pound man, but is athletic as hell. Has a lot of good face qualities, but is currently with a heel manager, so it's a matter of time before they let the Moose loose. Oh, I just did say that, didn't I?
Oh, wait a minute.
Moose took on Mark Briscoe, and Moose. The story here is Moose's performance in the ring. He's still kind of a new guy, kind of learning the ropes, but he's got a great entrance music that pumps up the crowd, and he's got charisma in the ring, and is an athletic as hell 300-pound man. So this guy, once he turns face, I think it's going to be sky the limit for that guy. Once he gets a little experience in his belt.
Yeah, dude, he's a big man. I actually met him last night at the tapings very briefly. He's gigantic. And he hits one of the nicest, highest drop kicks I think I've ever seen.
And he hits a spear with an interesting twist to it, where he does a front flip after the spear, and I've never seen anybody do that in recent memory, at least. And I think that's kind of a cool twist to kind of separate yourself from the pack when you can take a move that's been used by so many wrestlers and kind of make it your own. I mean. And this guy is green, like they say, green as goose shit. And he's, he impressed me for being a guy, seeing this guy for the first time. I enjoyed seeing him in the ring against Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, it was great. I absolutely, I really think the sky's the limit for this guy. And people are going to be if you haven't seen him work yet, you're going to be really surprised the first time you do. And it's just, he's one of those guys where I don't feel he's going to be in Ring of Honor for much longer, because I feel he's the perfect type of build that WWE is going to scoop up and get down to the Performance Center as soon as humanly possible.
Yep, I agree. The next match was one of my favorites of the night. It would have been probably one of the top favorites if we didn't have Doc Gallows missing from the Bullet Club. But it was a three-way tag team match between the Bullet Club, Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, against the Addiction, which is Kazarian, and I just drew a freaking blank. Chris Daniels.
Yeah.
I just had a brain fart there. Holy shit. And the Kingdom. I don't know the Kingdom off the top of my head. I know one's Maria's husband, Bennett. But,
Mike Bennett.
Mike Bennett. And but Kingdom, a nice young new tag team, I believe, that and this match was just phenomenal. Spots everywhere. It would have been. I think it would have been over the top if Gallows was actually in the match, but unfortunately, due to the winter weather, Gallows got delayed at the airport, so Anderson went at it alone. Still with the 5 guys, it was a great show, but I think it would have been over the top if we had Gallows in there.
Oh yeah, the match was phenomenal. His actually, while we're thinking about Michael Bennett's partner's Matt Taven.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, I thought everybody, put on an amazing match for what they had to work with, especially with Doc not being able to make it in there. So they had to do, the 2-on-2-on-1 triple threat type deal. I thought it was very well done. I was honestly surprised that the Kingdom picked up the win. I thought the Addiction were gonna get the win. So it was super surprising. I guess I wouldn't say super surprised, but it was surprising. So I'll be I'm interested to see where they go next with it.
The Kingdom, like you said, went over in that match. Then we got a kind of a grudge match of former stablemates, Roderick Strong against B.J. Whitmer, who they were in the faction The Decade, and so this was a little. This was a good kind of ground and pound match. Some great. It wasn't a 5-star match, but it didn't suck either. I think they did some good technical wrestling, and with Roderick Strong coming out on top after what did he basically do? Kind of a face turn and turned on The Decade? Is that what happened in the story?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't even know if it was considered to be a face turn. I think they just got B.J. Whitmer and company got jealous of Roderick, being Mr. ROH and being, even as a heel at that point, how popular he was. So he's a Triple Crown winner there too, right? Yeah, he's amazing, and I'm not a big B.J. Whitmer fan, but Roddy put on the best match with Whitmer that I think you could have possibly put on that night. And Roderick Strong, I think he's severely underrated. I would love to see him make another run at the ROH Championship.
I'm sure that'll come down, eventually. I think, is Roderick still pretty young? He's 31, so yeah.
Yeah, he's not that old.
After that, we got the ladies' turn. Maria Kanellis, which is the valet for the Kingdom, but she did not accompany them in the triple threat tag team matches. She was preparing for her match with ODB, one Dirty Briscoe. This was a pretty. Does Maria wrestle much or not?
Well, she did. She wrestled in WWE.
Yeah,
before she was released. I think this was her second Ring of Honor match because she did like a 6-person tag on Ring of Honor TV like a month or two ago. I want to say. I might even be saying too long ago. I'm honest. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, this was like her second Ring of Honor match, and I was freaking shocked that she took both the super kick and a spear from her husband in that match. It was freaking the super kick was crazy enough, and I honestly thought that was going to be the end of the match, and I couldn't believe she kicked out.
I know. I was surprised she kicked out
too, and I was just like, damn.
Yeah, and she took both of those on the hardest part of the ring, the outside apron there.
Yeah.
Oh, that spear had to not feel good.
No, I wouldn't have.
ODB comes out on top. Now, what belt is that she...
That was, originally, it was Jay Briscoe's version of the ROH World title. It was stolen by the Kingdom, and Matt Hardy, who was a member of the Kingdom at the time, turned it into, the Matt Hardy Championship. And he put Matt Hardy stickers and stuff on it and all that, and it was I think he was calling it the iconic title, I believe, or something like that. And when he left, to go to TNA, he gave it to Maria, and Maria, put the pink stuff on it and called it the Title of Love. But ODB was able to get it back to Jay Briscoe, who is the rightful owner of that title.
Due to time constraints, I have not watched the last 4 matches, but I definitely am going to get those in sometime this week. But we're going to still go over them anyways because Matt has a lot to say, especially with this next match, AJ Styles against ACH. What are your thoughts on that match?
Oh, this match was awesome. I love
match of the night.
Ooh.
Or are you going to go with the main event?
No, the main event definitely wasn't match of the night.
Lethal
I honestly,
Bro?
I thought the main event, the 4-way for the world title, was the weakest match of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they had enough time. I think it was time constraints. Just they tried to do too much within the time limit that they had left on pay-per-view, and I just don't think they had enough time to get it done.
What's the background on AC? What's the background on ACH? I'm not familiar with this guy.
I don't really know much of his background. I really don't think they've given him much of one. He's just a solid performer, and every time I've watched him wrestle in Ring of Honor, I've been highly entertained. I think he's fantastic, and I thought him and Alberto Del Rio, El Patreon, had a phenomenal match on Ring of Honor TV just like a week or two ago. And then, had another great match with AJ at the pay-per-view. You know what? Now thinking about it, it probably was my match of the night. It was great.
So is it El Patron or El Patreon?
I believe it's El Patron.
Patron? Okay, I didn't know how they pronounced it. Obviously, I haven't watched the rest of the show.
I believe it's El Patron.
Okay. So yeah, I was starting to kind of fade out when I was watching that match, and I'm like, you know what, I got to pause it here because I'm not going to want to miss this, and I'm going to definitely catch up onto that match here later on this week. Next, we had the ROH tag titles on the line. Red Dragon against the Young Bucks. Red Dragon retains the titles, and this looked like it was a pretty good match, pretty good lengthy match there. What did you think on that?
The match was great, and I enjoyed it, but I really wanted a title change. I really don't see the appeal of the Red Dragon gimmick. I think Kyle O'Reilly is a phenomenal wrestler. I really don't see anything in Bobby Fish at all, and I know there's a lot of people that are going to hate me for saying that, but I just don't. I truly think together they're the most overrated tag team in professional wrestling right now. So I was really hoping for a title change to the Young Bucks, but it wasn't in the cards. And we'll see who the next challengers for them are. I would imagine it's going to be the Kingdom, due to them picking up that win earlier in the show, which is odd because Red Dragon isn't a face tag team, so neither is the Kingdom. So I mean, it looks like they're going to go, like an all heel tag match for the tag titles there upcoming.
Would you say the Kingdom is more over though with the ROH crowd?
That's a good question. Honestly, I don't have a good answer for that. I would. There's a lot of people who really like Red Dragon. I mean, for real. I don't. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan.
The ROH TV title on the line for the second to last match of the night. Jay Lethal against Alberto El Patron, or Alberto Del Rio, as you known from WWE. Jay Lethal retains his title. And what were your thoughts on that match, Matt?
The match was awesome. And honestly, as long as Lethal was held the TV title and the star power that Alberto was coming in from WWE, I was expecting a title change. I was pleasantly surprised that there wasn't one. And I'm happy that Alberto would come into Ring of Honor and be so willing to, come in on pay-per-view and put over a Jay Lethal in a title match like that. I thought it was great.
And I'm sure that Alberto is no stranger to Jay Lethal. He knows that he is a legit wrestler, very accomplished. I'm just wondering why the WWE hasn't called him yet.
Yeah.
He's only 29, so
yeah, he's got time. As I said,
he's one of those guys.
If Triple H really starts picking these talents out, I mean, the future of NXT and the future of WWE in general excites me a great deal. Especially when he's running things and Vince is out of the picture.
So obviously, Jay Lethal, my knowledge of him is within TNA when he was just kind of that young underdog guy, and then he did the Black Machismo. What is his kind of shtick in ROH right now?
He's a heel. He's with the House of Truth, with the Truth Martini manager guy.
Give Truth a chance.
Yeah, let's not give this guy a chance.
What's up?
he's he's a ridiculous, over-the-top heel manager, but he's been with ROH for a long time. He reminds me a lot of Cyrus the Virus from late ECW, if you remember him. But he really doesn't do anything for me.
Is it like a kind of a Nation of Domination type of thing, or religious type of thing, or?
I don't even know if I would call it religious, but I mean, Truth Martini has this big book that he carries around that's called the Book of Truth, and he leads Lethal and a couple other guys in this stable, and Lethal's pretty much the star of the stable, but people have come and gone in the House of Truth throughout the years, and they normally end up going in, and then they leave Martini, and then they turn face, and the new House of Truth members beat them up, and it's a vicious cycle.
Has Lethal been a face yet in ROH?
Yes, Lethal was a face up until he joined Truth. Oh man, when did he join Truth? Like a year ago, I want to say. I'm probably getting that timeline wrong, and I apologize. He's been with them for a while, but he was a face even longer.
And then the main event of the night, the ROH World Title. We got the champion Jay Briscoe along with Hansen, Tommaso Ciampa, and Michael Elgin. And as with everything else tonight, the champion has retained, and Jay Briscoe wins the match. What were your thoughts on the main event before the obvious guy at the end of the show? What were your thoughts on the match itself?
Before the main event, Samoa Joe returned to Ring of Honor, cut a promo about being back, and basically whoever the champ was at the end of the night, he was coming for him. The match, I feel like it didn't have enough time left. Ring of Honor has never really been big on the pay-per-view side of things. They're more, in their history, have been more of an pay-per-view company. So if their show's going to go over, it's really not that big of a deal. But when you buy time from, the cable provider, you really don't get that chance to extend your show. So, I think some things ran over throughout the event, and they were left with not as much time as they were hoping for, and they just had to, rush a whole bunch of stuff and put it together. And I don't really feel like, I really don't feel like it turned out that great. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it kind of felt rushed and overbooked. Then Briscoe, retained. Honestly, he retained by luck, because Hansen hit him with a big roundhouse kick, and he fell on top of I believe he fell on top of Elgin, and pinned him for a 3 count. So because I think Ciampa was outside, and literally Briscoe won by being hit with Hansen's finish, falling on top of Elgin and getting the 3 count. So, and
then obviously Joe confronts Briscoe at the end, and the two shake hands. Obviously, it looks like we're going to probably get a Briscoe-Joe match, but as we talked about with the negotiations with the WWE, I'm assuming Joe's going to put Briscoe over.
Yeah, I would assume so. They set up the storyline at the Ring of Honor tapings last night. They had the stare down in-ring promo, and they agreed for the title match. I believe they said it was going to be at Best in the World. And I can't remember when that show is supposed to be held. But obviously, I would assume before April 25th. So, but yeah, I mean, if Joe's going to stay, I'd say, heck, put the freaking title on him. But if he's not, then yeah, you put Briscoe over on the way out the door, you do the right thing by business, and you just go on to WWE, man.
Well, it'll still put butts in the seats with Joe headlining the card, so it's obviously not going to hurt. We're going to switch gears now to the WWE and a Hall of Fame announcement for this week, and a very surprising and interesting one, as there's a lot of reasons that it makes sense, and then one very big reason why it doesn't make sense. But Alundra Blayze is going to be the next inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. She started her career mainly in some smaller territorials until she made it to WCW in '91, and then jumped ship to WWE in '93 and kind of revived the women's division. She was a 3-time WWE Women's Champion, but then during the Monday Night Wars, obviously, she had jumped ship over there and famously dropped the WWE Women's title into a trash can on Monday Night Nitro. And so, I mean, you know, she's definitely a credit for kind of bringing that women's division back into the WWE where it had really been failing. And so, but what are your thoughts on Blayze as a Hall of Fame inductee, Matt?
I definitely think she deserves it. I was just absolutely shocked. Because I heard rumors going into the Hall of Fame this year that they were going to induct her, and I'm like, really? You know, after she threw the women's championship in the trash on Nitro, they're going to put her in their Hall of Fame. I was super surprised, but she definitely deserves to be in there. But I was super shocked that they did it.
But at the same time, Vince won, so it doesn't really matter, you know. That's more water under the bridge because Vince came out on top on that war. So
true enough.
So yeah, obviously worthy of it. I mean, she did a lot of things in women's wrestling that were never really done with the type of moves that she put on, and now she's a monster truck driver.
Yep.
Quite a change, but be interesting to see who the next one will be. The next person to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Any leaks this week, Matt? Did you see anything?
The rumor for Monday is it's either going to be Kevin Nash or Larry Zbyszko. Are the two names that I'm hearing back and forth right now. Obviously, Nash is pretty much a lock at this point and will be closing the Hall of Fame. I'm hearing he's going to be inducted by Shawn Michaels, so that should be cool. I think that'll be a good moment because as much as we want Savage to close the Hall of Fame, he's not there to do it. So no. he can't be the closing act, and you can't close the Hall of Fame on a depressing note. So that's what it would be. I would leave depressed if Savage was the last inductee. So I'm glad we're getting, you know, a smart ass in Kevin Nash because, you know, he's a joker. And I think
the Click will probably take the stage once more.
I would imagine we would get another Click reunion at the Hall of Fame, which is kind of cool because the last time they had the Click did he do the Click reunion for Hall last year?
Yes, they did.
Okay, yep. But I mean, when they first did it for Shawn, everybody was there but Hall. So you know,
yeah, because he didn't want to be around alcohol or anything like that.
So I mean, that'll be pretty cool. You know, eventually, you know, you got to think the NWO is going to go in, and DX. You know, I'd induct DX and the NWO in the same year.
That'd be great.
Just do like a stable year for the Hall of Fame and just induct like 4 or 5 stables.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And I think that would be really cool. And you could honestly, dude, that's the perfect year to induct the Hart Foundation. And kind of induct Owen without really inducting him. Mm-hmm. I think that, honestly, that could be really cool. So,
something to think about. Obviously, the dance card is probably even filling up for Texas as we're just now getting close to the Santa Clara WrestleMania, but Texas is also filling up with you want to assume Undertaker, Sting, and the Fabulous Freebirds. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes from there. Let's go to NXT here for this week. We start off the show with a pissed-off Alex Riley demanding a match with Kevin Owens, and Regal said that he has to choose one or the other, be a competitor or an announcer. And for now, Riley is just going to be an announcer for now, but we'll get to that a little later on. Tyler Breeze and Adam Rose, and I think this is the NXT arena is such a better atmosphere for an Adam Rose type of guy because they care about guys like this where a big arena is dead for them.
Well, the problem is that WWE never gave the main audience a reason to care about Adam Rose.
Yeah, because he never really went on a big winning streak either.
Yeah, and in the promos leading up to him debuting really didn't tell you anything about
all time.
Yeah, it didn't tell you anything about the character at all. So when he debuted, you were like, why am I supposed to care about this goofball with the bunny?
Very quick match, but Tyler Breeze came out on top, and pretty funny moment when Tyler Breeze had to shoo off the rosebuds with his selfie stick. That was kind of funny.
The selfie stick is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but it was still funny when he had to kind of shoot them off with it. We are gonna then go to a tag team match. The tag team champions Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy took on a couple of jobbers. I was kind of impressed by Angelo Dawson, the guy that got the tag in for the jobbers. Sawyer Fulton was looked like he was a big fan of Mike Rotunda back in the day as he was wearing the wrestling headgear.
I think he's a former collegiate wrestler.
Yeah, I think they both were.
Yeah.
And so this could be your new Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. I was impressed with Angelo, the very short offense that he did get. I thought that was I think he may have a little promise in him, way down the line, but I think there should be some promise there. The tag champs obviously going over in that one, not a big surprise.
Nope.
We got a little Bayley and Charlotte interaction. Bayley wishing Charlotte good luck. Charlotte says that she doesn't need luck. And Emma walks in, and are we going to get a heel turn by Emma? Because she basically kind of told Bayley that her bubbly happiness didn't get her anywhere on the main roster.
Yeah, I definitely think they're leading to a character reboot for Emma, which honestly might be the best thing that could happen to that girl, because that girl can go.
As long as they don't call her Crocodile Emma.
Oh, God. No. She can still be named Emma, but I think they're going to give her like a character reboot. Like they gave Becky Lynch a character reboot already from what she debuted as to what she is now. Completely same name, but a completely different character. So
with Adam Rose.
But they changed his name, they changed his gimmick, they changed they changed everything about him. Becky Lynch is still Becky Lynch. She's just a completely different type of performer than she was when she debuted. And I think Emma could definitely benefit from something like that, and it would probably do her career a world of good right now, because that girl is too talented to be wasted in the WWE in the future, if we're going to be doing # Give Divas a Chance. Emma would be a key part of that in the future, because I know a lot of people, main WWE watchers, haven't gotten to see it. But if you go back and watch her old NXT stuff, she's super talented.
Mm-hmm. And I think the awkwardness and the funky dancing and the bubbles, that's good for the NXT arena. But I think once you get to the big stage, I think you need a little something more.
But also the same problem with Emma on the main roster is the same problem with Adam Rose. Mm-hmm. They didn't explain her character at all. They didn't explain the dancing. They didn't explain the bubbles. They didn't explain why she did what she did, and the crowd was like, huh?
Yeah, there were a few people that got it. But.
Yeah, but you can't expect your entire main roster or your entire main audience to follow NXT and know exactly what's going on down there. The people who watch NXT are only a fraction of who watch Raw, because let's say there's, like they say, 1 million WWE Network subscribers right now. There's roughly 4 million people that watch Raw every week. So right there, that's 3/4 of your audience that aren't even exposed to the product. So you have to do a better job about introducing these people when you bring them up and make people care. Instead of just bringing them up, doing the exact same thing they were doing in NXT, but not explaining it to anybody. And it just doesn't work.
They probably assumed, which is hard to do. You got 1 million subscribers, but you got 17 million people that downloaded the app,
Oh, God.
Baron Corbin comes out to whip some ass of another jobber, but that was basically just a backdropping for the fact of Kevin Owens coming back to the announce table and dumping a bottle of water on Riley to piss him off, and Albert had to hold Riley back, and Owens basically just turned his back and said, "Hey, take a shot at me," but Albert held him back, and then Owens just walked away without looking back, and so we're seeing a little bit of a mini feud here until we get to Finn Balor and Kevin Owens. So
I think they said March 25th for that, right? Balor and Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming
awesome.
up. WrestleMania week, man. That's a good time to do the NXT special, I think, and it's actually a little more frequent. So maybe they are going monthly.
I don't know if they said it was a special, but I think they announced that the title match will take place on March 25th.
It sounded like there was a name for it.
Oh, I don't remember them saying a name.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that...
Yeah, but for now, Owens has Mr. Rage, Alex Riley, to deal with until he gets to that match.
Yeah. I think it's a good story, though.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, if he truly wants to get out of the ring, get out of the broadcast booth and get back in the ring, more power to him. There's nothing wrong with that. And honestly, I don't think his commentary's that great anyway. So I'd rather have the guy in the ring than have him on the commentary team.
Yeah, and at least the build of the story has been good so far with the past 2 weeks there. We get a little home video of Sami Zayn in Montreal talking about his trip to Abu Dhabi, and obviously the background with him and Kevin Owens, and he'll come back when he's ready to come back. He's kind of taking a little time to get a little get his bearings back after Kevin Owens beat the shit out of him. Now, Zayn has been away a couple different times lately, basically both Owens attacks, and he's been on tour with Abu Dhabi. So, is he going to the main roster soon?
I think I'm hearing Neville's getting called up before Zayn is, and I think the first time having him off the air, after the attack for the championship was planned, but I don't really think they planned ahead for this time around due to the Abu Dhabi tour. I don't think he would have missed any TV time this go around if it wasn't for that tour that was happening. Because Sami Zayn speaks Arabic, and it was super smart to take him over there, and and be that goodwill ambassador type deal for the company in those shows. So, I mean, it totally made sense. They made the right call. I think he was needed over there, and I think it was a big deal to send someone like that to that tour. But I truly don't believe that it was planned this way to take him off TV twice, like right after big, live specials, because I think it kind of hurts his momentum a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
And it's interesting because, I mean, you're getting a lot of guys in line right now for Kevin Owens. You got Alex Riley, and then you got Finn Balor, and now you still got Sami Zayn. So a lot of Kevin Owens is going to have a lot on his plate coming up here for sure. Backstage segment with C.J. Parker complaining to William Regal, and as he was doing some complaining, Alex Riley shows up into Regal's office and says he wants to wrestle. And Regal says he has to sign a talent contract, and he won't get Owens until Regal feels like he's ready because he has not been wrestling for quite some time. And so we are going to have a C.J. Parker-Alex Riley match, and obviously Parker's been the jobber of NXT, so we'll get Alex Riley's return. And we'll have to see how he is in the ring. Be interesting to see after a few years off, see how he does there.
Yeah, we're just a few days away from finding out. I'm hoping he's still as good. I thought he was really good when he was in the ring in the first place.
Oh, he had so much momentum when he turned on Miz, and then it just flickered out like it never even happened.
Well, there was rumors that he had some kind of issue with John Cena backstage that kind of put a kibosh on his career. So I'm not really sure how truthful that is. I mean, but that's definitely what's been reported. So take it for what it's worth.
Solomon Crowe makes his in-ring debut against Bull Dempsey, and Bull Dempsey is now one of the jobbers of NXT. Solomon Crowe went over pretty quick.
Job, Bull, job. Job, Bull, job. Job, Bull, job.
Crowe looked pretty good. His finisher, I'm a fan of his finisher. It's kind of a unique, different type of little move.
I would buy it as more of a signature move than a finisher.
Than a finisher, yeah.
My main issue is like, man, he got the pin off of that. I mean, it looked cool, but I had a hard time buying it as like a legit finishing move. But that might just be me.
We get the main event, title rematch, Sasha Banks and Charlotte. This went for about a good 12 minutes.
Awesome.
I thought another great match between the two. Sasha Banks goes over on this match. I'm thinking that I think Charlotte's probably going to be up on the main roster for good here real soon. I
think Charlotte and Neville will probably be brought up to the main roster after WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, another solid show by NXT this week, as always. Now let's shift gears and head into Raw this week, and we get Seth Rollins entering the arena as this is supposedly going to be the answer by Jon Stewart coming to Raw, and then we got Roman Reigns with a little bit of facing off with Seth Rollins, and basically just at least it wasn't it wasn't Triple H starting off the show, so that was kind of nice and fresh, but just the same old stuff between Rollins and Roman Reigns. Just kind of filling time, I thought. Man,
I think Roman Reigns' microphone kryptonite is Seth Rollins.
Well,
because truthfully, he's not great on the mic, but he's gotten better. But every time that Rollins and Reigns have been face to face on the microphone this year, it's been brutal. And I thought it was pretty brutal with him and Rollins on Monday night as well. Because Rollins is great on the mic, Reigns is so-so on the mic, but when those two get together, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because they're such good friends backstage that they can't really be, the super
hateful,
serious characters with each other, but it just comes off really bad every time that they're, interacting in the ring with each other. I don't like it.
What came out of this was an interesting proposition by Reigns by telling Rollins to just cash it in advance and make it a triple threat match, which would be an interesting element, but I mean, that's not within Rollins' character, so there's no way he's going to do that.
No, Brock doesn't show up. They might have to do that and then just have a one-on-one match for the vacated title.
That's true.
I'm just saying it's possible.
Wouldn't that make it interesting?
And that would make sense why they're holding off on what they're doing with Orton right now.
Yeah.
That way, just in case something does happen with Brock, they don't have to turn Orton on Rollins already.
Yeah, I mean, what they could do is keep him kind of as a tweener within the Authority, and Rollins cashes in successfully, and then Orton puts Rollins over maybe on Rollins' first title defense, maybe in the April or May pay-per-view. It's Orton and Rollins for the title, and then Orton does the job to Rollins.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, there's possibilities for that briefcase in WrestleMania now with the big, question mark looming over Brock Lesnar's head. So who knows what's going to happen. But tonight, Brock is scheduled to be at Raw in Pittsburgh. So we'll know a lot more in about 24 hours, I guess, of what to expect from WrestleMania.
Exactly. The hot potato with the IC title is continuing, and actually I think it's kind of entertaining, and I think it's put it in the forefront. We'll get to SmackDown later, but the IC picture was the main event for SmackDown. So I'm kind of happy on how they're setting everything up, and obviously a ladder match is going to be very entertaining. We got a 10-minute match between Ambrose and Barrett that was pretty solid, but obviously there was kind of a sideshow on the outside of the ring with everybody trying to steal the title. So, but we still got a good solid match between two workers that I love with Ambrose and Barrett.
Yeah, it was a good match. I mean, everybody involved in this belongs, I would think, with the exception of R-Truth, which I feel is really just in there for the comedic factor.
I think they're just throwing him a bone because he's been a team player for so long. You know,
that's my guess as well. And he probably makes Vince laugh, which doesn't surprise me at all.
No, Vince thinks everything's funny. So
his humor is definitely on a Vince McMahon level.
They replay. Speaking of Vince McMahon level humor, but this was actually funny. They replayed the Niagara segment with Miz, and man, that was well, actually, though, they replayed the segment where Miz butts in on the commercial, and then they play this commercial, and it turns out it's for a boner pill, and they make edits to make Miz seem a little inadequate, I guess. And honestly, sometimes this type of stuff is real hit and miss with creative. I think this was a hit.
I know Vince was backstage belly laughing about this.
Oh!
That's funny, pal. That's great. Yeah, you can't get it up.
And then there's
it was what it was. I wasn't super impressed by it, but
I thought it was pretty funny.
It was okay. I'm not gonna. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either.
And then there's a little back and forth on Twitter between Miz and Maurice, and they actually showed that.
Was great.
Yeah, they showed that on Smackdown. We got Bray Wyatt once again with another great promo. You know, right now he's carrying the feud with The Undertaker. Who knows when Taker's going to show up? But, you know, lit a casket on fire. And I liked the promo that Bray came out with on Raw this week.
I'll be perfectly honest, I'm getting tired of it.
Well,
I hate the fact that 3 of the top matches at WrestleMania right now are being carried by one guy, because WWE doesn't want to spend the money to have both people on the show every week. You know, and I can understand it throughout the rest of the year. Why Brock's not there, why Sting's not there, you know, why Undertaker isn't there. But on the road to WrestleMania, when WrestleMania is just a few weeks away, Sting, Taker, and Lesnar should be on Raw every week, starting tonight's show through WrestleMania. All 3 of those guys should be on TV every Monday night. You don't have to be on SmackDown. I get it. But every Monday night, these guys need to be there every Raw for the rest of this month. Because I feel honestly, I feel bad for Bray, he and Roman, that they literally have to carry this entire feud by themselves. Heyman's doing the best he can with what he's got to work with, but it's not the same without Brock there. And I can only hear Triple H talk about WCW so much, without Sting finally speaking and saying what's on his mind, which I feel like he has to do before WrestleMania.
I think Bray Wyatt did great here, but I think we are to the point where I think that he can no longer carry this by himself. But this week itself, or last week's Raw, was great in advancing the feud. But yeah, you're right. Undertaker needs to be there, and I think Bray's done all he can do right now.
Yeah, that's all I mean. I mean, it's nothing against Bray, but he's literally he's cutting a promo against nobody right now. And I mean, you know, he's cutting against The Undertaker, but when somebody doesn't reply, you just have to be, you didn't reply again, man. So I gotta say something else stupid this week. You know, and it's just like, it doesn't work. You have to have on promos like this, they have to be back and forth. And even if you don't want to bring Undertaker to Raw before Mania, get some freaking, at least some video packages done with him actually responding to the challenge and how he's going to, you know, tombstone Bray Wyatt to hell, or, you know, whatever he's going to say. You know,
well, if you're not gonna bring him in this week, then you got to do something at least like that, a video package of him cutting a promo. Yeah. You got to have that at least.
I hope so. I mean, I think a lot of things. I think the future of how good WrestleMania is going to be this year is going to squarely rely on how good Raw is tonight. I mean, this is the same arena that single-handedly changed the road to WrestleMania last year at the Royal Rumble. This is the same place, and they're going back there on the road to WrestleMania this year. So they better come out and fire on all cylinders, because that crowd's not going to accept anything less.
Reigns is going to get the shit booed out of him.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty ugly for Roman on Monday night.
We got a 6-man mixed tag team match with Cesaro, Tyson Kidd, and Talia against the Usos and Naomi. Very quick match, only went 4 minutes. So basically, just to let you know that, hey, they're feuding. I mean, they've had a lot of great matches, but I mean, we're about to the point where it's just time for you guys to have it at WrestleMania. The main thing out of this one, Kidd tagged Natalya when Natalya was hurting, and we got another one of those roll-up-of-deaths. And a very quick match, nothing really to further any feud. So
yeah, just keep the fire burning, so to speak.
Yeah, John Cena comes out basically to kind of just say he wants to, since he can't get Rusev to fight him in a match, he wants to enter himself in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal,
which he has done now 2 years in a row. That he has entered himself in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and within the same segment had to back out and not enter said Battle Royal. I think it's going to be a yearly running joke now, till eventually where Cena finally gets to be in this Battle Royal and wins it.
Yeah, exactly. Stephanie McMahon came back and said, nope, sorry. Basically kind of just saying Cena needs to sit out this WrestleMania. The fans loved it.
Yeah, I don't think that was the reaction they were hoping for.
And then Stephanie finished off with saying, Cena, or the WWE doesn't need Cena needs them. At the point where he is right now, that's about true.
It almost sounded like Stephanie was closing her eyes and shooting on CM Punk.
Yeah, probably.
But, she was just channeling it to Cena instead. Yeah, a lot of the lines she said felt very jabby at CM Punk to me, and maybe I was just looking too much into it. But if you go back and you listen to the promo, definitely a few of the lines that she said definitely sounded like something more along the lines that they would say to CM Punk than they would say to John Cena.
No, I wouldn't put it past her to do that. And then we get our new favorite man up on the screen. Curtis Axel.
Axelmania.
He's been in the Royal Rumble for 35 days, and he wants to face Rusev at WrestleMania.
Dude, I'm loving freaking Curtis Axel right now.
Yeah, this is the best he's done. I mean, I like Axelmania, yeah. The Hogan thing, though, I don't know.
Have you heard his new catchphrase that he dubbed at the house shows this weekend?
No.
Often imitated, never eliminated.
That's a good one.
And I'm like, that's freaking great. I have my $25 gift card from WWE Shop that I got from being with the network since day one, and I'm dragging my feet on using it because I swear, like, the day I use it, the next day they're going to release the Axelmania shirt. And
they haven't released it yet?
They haven't released it yet, and I'm hoping it's the red shirt with the hashtag Axelmania on the back, and I'm hoping it has that catchphrase on the back. Often imitated, never eliminated. I will be all over that freaking T-shirt, and I will wear it, with pride of Axelmania, man. I think
I used my 25 to buy a Dean Ambrose shirt because that's what I do.
Dude, Dean is the man. I got a Dean T-shirt already. He's the man. I love me some Dean. But
Dean's my number one now that Jericho's no longer full time. So,
but yeah, I mean, I want an Axelmania shirt. I've tweeted WWE Shop a few times. I'm like, when we get our Axelmania shirts, and of course they don't reply, but I know they're seeing the tweets.
The crowd loved him.
Oh, dude,
the crowd loved him
on
Raw.
Awesome. The crowd reaction he got was phenomenal, and he's the type of guy that us guys on Lost in the Big Car can get behind. Because, man, Curtis Axel has been the personification of Lost in the Midcard for his entire WWE run. So
we might use Axel in the Open next week.
Yes. So I'm really hoping Axelmania runs wild this month. And you know what? If you need a funny Hulk Hogan ripoff to get this dude over, freaking go for it. Because sometimes when you get lightning in a bottle, you just have to run with it. And it seems like they're onto something here. And I'm telling you what, dude. Tomorrow night or tonight in Pittsburgh, if Axel's fighting Rusev and Hogan comes out and saves him, I'll say tag match. I've been calling it for weeks. If Hogan gets involved in all this, man, WrestleMania is going to get crazy.
A microscopic part of my being thought that Curtis Axel was going to beat John Cena, but I said
You
microscopic.
Are crazy.
But no, it was a 1-minute match. John Cena destroys Curtis Axel. Rusev once again tells Cena to go fuck himself because he's not going to wrestle him. We don't believe you, Rusev. But Rusev has been brilliant.
No, Rusev was hilarious. I can't remember what they were chanting at him, but he had a tremendous one-liner back to the crowd on Raw Monday night. And I wish I could remember what it was, but it was fantastic. He's getting better on the mic each and every week.
Yep.
And he's such a good performer, and the way he moves for his size it's awesome. I really hope that he doesn't get hurt this month, extending this feud with Cena. And the tag match, honestly, would be the best way they could go right now to protect him. And I really hope somebody's smart enough to get that match done.
I've been enjoying Rusev's time as a heel, but there were times throughout the past year where I was just getting tired of the promos from Lana.
He's evolving now.
Yeah,
and that's what's
so.
important.
And I'm excited. Every time I see Rusev and Lana now, I'm excited because there's a good mix of those two talking. It's not the same propaganda crap. It's actually, it's they're cutting a promo on Cena and talking about him being a broken old man. They're not even doing USA and Russia, what they've done a few times now with guys like Mark Henry, Jack Swagger. So this has been the best Rusev has been, and obviously it's only going to get better because he's young. So I'm excited now every time we see Rusev, which there would be times where I'd be like, oh God, here we go, another. I mean, Lana's hot, don't get me wrong, but another one of those same olds. We shift gears to the Triple H and Sting feud. And some interviews from WWE.com with Arn Anderson and Michael Hayes. Very cool to see those guys talk about Sting. Two of my favorites of all time. Then Triple H basically does his same old thing about talking Sting down, and calls Booker T into the ring. As Booker said, Sting is a different cat, and Triple H has got to watch himself. He's getting in too deep here. And Triple H took exception to that and told Booker T he was fired. But just as Booker T was getting his stuff and leaving the ringside area, Triple H just said, just kidding.
Just trolling, LOL.
Yeah, LOL. Just showing that he has the power. But interesting segment. I thought Booker was like, holy shit. I was like, are they really firing Booker T? Is he going to take a little break? And are we going to get Paul Heyman in the commentary? That would have been great.
Well, I figured they were going to end up doing something worse than was going to fight for Booker T's job.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania or something ridiculous like that. I'm glad they didn't do that because don't get me wrong, I'm super excited to see Sting in the WWE ring for the first time. To go up against Triple H. I think it's going to be an awesome match, and I'm super looking forward to it. But I have a really hard time, as a professional wrestling fan, to buy into the WCW versus WWE storyline since WCW has been dead for like 14 years.
Yeah,
I'm hoping before they get to WrestleMania, Sting actually speaks and says, look, this isn't about WWE versus WCW. This is about, you trying, the things you're doing to this company, I saw them happen already to WCW, and I don't want to see WWE go down the same path WCW did. So I have to do something about it. so the history doesn't repeat itself, or something like that. You know, I don't want this all the way up to WrestleMania being about WWE versus WCW, because I can't buy into the fact that that's what the core of this entire feud should be based on.
Well, no, I think it's more based on the fact that Sting has cost the Authority. I think that's the number one thing. But I do like the WCW angle into it a little bit. I don't like it being the main focus like it has the past couple of weeks. But obviously the main focus is the fact that Sting has cost the Authority twice now in two big situations. And I just think the WCW angle is tacked on there to make sense. As just don't roll with it a third straight week and put like a Dusty Rhodes in the ring or something, you know?
Oh God, no! I hope.
Divas tag team match: Nikki Bella against Paige. Paige gets the rematch after Nikki Bella had used the tights to win at Fastlane. Divas actually got 6 minutes this time.
They did.
Paige was on a roll, went for the PTO, and Brie hit Paige to cause the disqualification. We a great match for the Divas. 6 minutes. Give them 6 every week with an occasional 10 to 12 on another match. You know, maybe once a month or something. You know?
I mean, I still liked their main event match better. I mean, but for the time that they were alive, they put on a fantastic match for the time they had to work with.
Oh yeah, that main event match was phenomenal, no doubt about that. And as the Bellas were beating down Paige, we got a special surprise return. AJ Lee.
That person I said would never be back in WWE last week?
Yeah, well, the whole lawsuit thing, and oh yeah, big fucking pop for AJ Lee as she came out. The crowd popped hard for that.
Yeah, I mean,
great return.
It was her hometown. You know, it was in Jersey, so I mean, the hometown return was obviously most welcome to that crowd. And before, you know, PW Insider reported that Monday afternoon that she was backstage at the show, nobody thought she was coming back. You know, especially after those comments to Stephanie on Twitter. You know, the fact that she's back already is kind of crazy. I don't know if her contract's running out soon and she's just coming back to honor the last of her dates so she doesn't have to deal with the lawsuit from this company.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's super surprising to see her back there right now, given all the circumstances and the situations that are going on with everybody.
We get the Seth Rollins hosting the Daily Show to top off hour number 3, and I thought it was great. Jon Stewart, also from the Jersey area, sucked up to the crowd with a little cheap McFoley cheap pop, and great line by Jon Stewart. As he told Seth Rollins he looked like he was dressed like a SWAT team stripper with Lady Gaga's hair. That was some good shit. I mean, I'm not a Daily Show guy. I remember Jon Stewart from his MTV days. So that
wow, that's far back.
Yeah, I'm getting old. Basically, Stewart was ripping into Rollins finally to the point where Rollins had enough of it and got in Stewart's face. And then out comes Randy Orton, and that little bit of music by Randy Orton made Rollins' head turn just enough to have Jon Stewart kick him in the dick.
I mean, honestly, a lot of the stuff Stewart was saying, I felt they were almost planting seeds for something that they could look back at a couple months from now to signify a face turn for Rollins, for him to leave the Authority. Mm-hmm. You know, like, you're the poster boy for the Authority, but, you know, the thing about posters is they get pulled down when they get tired of them. And, you know, you try to cheat your way to the top, but, you know, these guys don't care about you, and they're going to use you up, and they're going to get rid of you, and you're not in the main event of WrestleMania, and all you got is that briefcase, and you haven't done anything to earn anything. And I really felt like if they wanted to, this could have been the beginning of a slow burn storyline to get Rollins out of the Authority and turn him back to a face character sometime this year. Don't know if they're going to do it, but I mean, it looked like there was a possibility there with the way they handled that segment on Monday night.
Well, you could keep Orton in the Authority.
Yep, exactly.
but it was a lot of times when celebrities come to Raw, it's a very big hit and miss, but I think Jon Stewart knocked it out of the park. It was a great appearance for a celebrity.
I think anytime a celebrity comes to the product and they actually watch the product and are a fan, I always think it's a hit. And I think Jon Stewart was no exception.
And he'll probably be inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2016.
Still better than Drew Carey, brother.
Yeah.
Two
more guys in the Intercontinental title picture: Luke Harper and Daniel Bryan. God, I wish this match would have went a little longer because it was a good one. But they only got 7 minutes and a quick tap out by Harper in the S-lock. It was, obviously Harper gives up quickly because he doesn't have anything to lose there. But, I mean, those two work together in the WWE great, and I wish they just had another 5-6 minutes on that.
Yeah, I mean, the match was great, but, I mean, anytime you put those two guys in the ring together, you're going to get a great match. They work very well together. They work very stiff. And it's a believable match. It's just, they're always very well done.
We got some more Intercontinental title shenanigans. R-Truth was looking to steal the title once again, and Harper Truth kind of gave it back to Harper, but Harper gave him a clothesline for his troubles. But as Harper goes up the stage, Ziggler hits a super kick. So now Ziggler's your new Intercontinental title. Oh wait, never mind. This isn't the Hardcore Championship.
Just bring back the Hardcore title and get it over with.
I'm loving this. I'm liking the little hot potato.
Yeah, but I mean, the people that are enjoying this, there's probably a fair group of people that were never around for the 24/7 Hardcore title days. Mm-hmm. So I mean, if people are getting a kick out of this, they should totally bring back, the Hardcore Championship and do legit crazy title changes like that. It was fun, and there's nothing wrong with having a fun title that people can bounce around with.
You had Briscoe and Patterson making this a great time with that Hardcore title. They were entertaining segments. The best one was it Patterson? No, it was Crash Holly was sleeping with his title, and Briscoe sneaks in with the ref and sits down and puts a finger on Crash Holly, and the ref counts silently 1, 2, 3, and then Briscoe ended up with the title. Oh, those were the days, weren't they?
Oh, it was something else.
Then obviously after that, the official announcement of Alundra Blayze. Then we got a little backstage with Rollins and Orton. Orton says he saved Rollins from being sued by Stewart, basically. Well, no, Orton's basically turning face, but we all know that.
Hey, Orton's just playing that Apex Predator, that Viper,
That was a good cover, though.
Yeah, and Orton knows what he's doing. I like the story that they're playing with it right now. I'm enjoying it.
Paul Heyman comes out after that, and holy shit, this was a great Paul Heyman promo.
Well, thank God, because last week's wasn't that great, so he needed to redeem himself.
Paul was on fire. He was pissed off. And the best part about that little tirade was the microphone kept fucking up, and Lillian handed him a new microphone, and Heyman goes, "It's about time she did something right."
So mean.
That got a good ooh.
Yeah, I think I did that on my couch when he said it. So.
Oh, and he mentioned Ronda Rousey's ass kicking that she laid on the previous weekend.
Yes, and made Ronda Rousey a verb.
Yep.
So I'm going to Ronda Rousey your ass.
But another great segment there with Paul Heyman. Then we get our main event, Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins, and Orton comes out to this one again, and Orton kind of is trying to show his quote-unquote true colors with the Authority by grabbing Reigns' leg and costing him the match against Rollins. So,
which I was so annoyed by, honestly.
Why is that?
Because we're supposed to believe that this guy is a challenger for the unstoppable, unbeatable monster in Brock Lesnar, yet he's losing with a roll-up against Seth Rollins on Raw because somebody grabbed his leg. You know, what's to stop Heyman from grabbing his leg at WrestleMania and for Brock to take his freaking head off? You know, I don't think the challenger going into WrestleMania should be losing anything for us to take him as a credible challenger for Brock Lesnar. I think it's bad.
Yeah, I agree with that, but yeah, there's those inconsistencies. I fully agree with that. I think that moment was more the focus of Orton than the destruction of Reigns. But obviously Reigns got his heat back by whipping everybody's ass afterwards.
Yeah, so. I don't think they needed to have him lose. That's all.
No, you make a great point though with the fact that that he is going to be taking on Brock Lesnar. With SmackDown.
No, not to overuse the wrestling pun of 2015, but they got to make Roman look strong.
Mm-hmm.
He has to look, especially when Brock's not there. Roman's got to look strong. Exactly. If you're supposed to believe that he's gonna beat Brock, that nobody's been able to beat Brock, but Roman Reigns is gonna do it, you can't have him losing main events on Raw to Seth Rollins. I'm sorry, I didn't like it.
And then we start off SmackDown with more Intercontinental title hijinks. Ziggler officially enters himself into the ladder match at WrestleMania. He puts over how important that title is, even though creative didn't really make it look important when Ziggler was the champion. But I digress. Hopefully they are turning a page with the Intercontinental title with what they're doing in the build-up of it for WrestleMania. And I think if they are really turning the corner with that Intercontinental title, I think they got to put it on Ambrose. Barrett maybe, just because he's been on such a losing streak, and he's a good champion. But I think I just don't like Barrett getting buried so badly, because if he does win, then it's just like, well, he's probably going to go back to being buried again until he has another Intercontinental title match.
I don't think there's any way Barrett leaves WrestleMania with the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
I really I would be shocked.
Do you think he makes a step up? I think he deserves it, but he's been losing a lot, but at the same time.
The main issue I would have as WWE to play, I love Barrett. And I think he belongs at the top of the card, but to play devil's advocate, that man's been very injury prone over the years. And if I'm WWE, I'm super hesitant to give him a run at the top of the card and have him get hurt again. Mm-hmm. I think he's got to go for at least 6 or 8 months straight without an injury before they can push him up into the main event.
I don't know if he's really injury prone. It was 2 freak things. One was, I think, Jack Swagger fucking up, and the other was just a freak fall was it a Royal Rumble match or a Battle Royal?
I believe it was a Battle Royal. He got thrown out on top of like Big Show or something like that.
It's not like he's tearing a quad every other week.
I know, but it's every time that dude's on the cusp of, quote unquote grabbing the brass ring, he gets hurt. So if I'm WWE, I'm a little gun shy on pushing him right now. That's just me. I would love to see him pushed, but as WWE, I would completely understand why they're hesitant to do so.
Yeah. Well, he's bided his time since he was at the top of the food chain back in, was about 2011. Is that about right?
Oh, wow. Was it really that long ago?
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Wow. That's crazy.
We get a throwaway tag team match with, anytime you have Los Matadores in the picture, it's a throwaway tag team match. Those guys just bore me to death.
Dan, they're not even lost in the mid-card, dude. They're lost in the curtain jerkers.
They're lost in the bore card. Kid and Cesaro with a win there, no doubt. We get Kane and the Big Show backstage segment. You probably don't like this, but I kind of cracked up at the Men's Warehouse little jab at the Demon Kane.
So corny.
I thought it was. I don't know. I had a giggle. I had a little giggle. Ryback.
Did you hear at the NXT event over the weekend in Ohio? They chanted, "Please retire" at the Big Show.
Yes, I did.
I
did see that.
I thought that was phenomenal.
Ryback takes on Kane, and the Big Show's out there to help him out, and basically just kind of your standard match there with Ryback getting the win. And then all of a sudden we get Big Show and Kane bickering at each other, so then we get Ryback against the Big Show. Well, Ryback wants to be fed more, so he was definitely fed more, but thanks to a little bit of interference, the Big Show came out on top of that match with Ryback. So basically just, basically kind of further minor storylines of guys that are entering the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I think my two favorites right now are Ryback and Curtis Axel. Can you see Curtis Axel winning that?
I would love to see Curtis Axel win that.
I think
I definitely think Mizdow has to throw Miz out.
Yeah. I think Ryback is the top contender to win that, though. He's been on fire since he came back, so...
I mean, you gotta keep in mind, when Cesaro won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, he wasn't even announced for the match until the night of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Might not even know who they're putting over at this point. But I feel with the push that Axel's getting behind him right now, with the way the crowd's getting behind him, I would think it would be smart if he can maintain that momentum for the rest of this month. I think Curtis Axel winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal would be vindication for this entire Royal Rumble storyline over the past few months. I think it would be great.
Crowd will love it.
I would love it.
I also wouldn't be. I would love it too. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mizdow wins it either, just because of how over he's been as well. All three guys have been Axel's not been as over. He's getting over a little bit better, but Mizdow and Ryback have been hugely over with the crowd lately. So, let's see here. We go from that. Another vignette of Sheamus returning. When's he going to return? Who knows? WWE probably doesn't know at this point.
Maybe he's going to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Maybe he returns at WrestleMania and wins the whole thing. Who freaking knows? Just keep him away from freaking Daniel Bryan, please.
We get Brie Bella against AJ. Another great Divas match. Holy shit! 2 weeks or two shows in a row with a fairly lengthy Divas match.
Give Divas a chance, man.
What the hell? Amazing.
You know that's why it's happening.
The New Day against Miz and Mizdow, basically.
Hey,
unfortunate.
It's a new day. Oh,
yeah,
yes, it is.
Unfortunately, nobody cares about the New Day.
I care about the New Day, damn it.
I did, but I'm bored with it already. I think it's because the crowd is always dead with it.
You jerk.
Jack Swagger loses to Rusev for the 3,000th time. Why did they keep putting him with Rusev?
I don't know. Why must you make me try to explain such things?
And then, of course, we get the debut of often imitated but never eliminated from Curtis Axel, as he has now been in the Royal Rumble for 39 days and counting.
His promo on the screen with the Axelmania background was awesome. I love it. I don't freaking care. I like some entertainment in my pro wrestling, and Curtis Axel has been nothing but entertaining since the Royal Rumble. It's been awesome. I really hope they let him run with this. And
Wiz Khalifa is going to be the guest star in Raw for tonight, with him being from Pittsburgh, so obviously one of the bigger rap stars around. And then give Divas a chance with Cameron and Summer Rae and Eva Marie.
It was first time being back on TV in forever.
I just had to crack up at that. Just three girls that
Summer Rae is legit in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't really let her show it on the main roster, although her and Paige have had some good matches over the past month. But if you go back and you watch Summer Rae in NXT, she's another girl that can go that they really haven't given a chance to on the main roster yet. She's a former football player, man. She's knocking your head off.
We get the main event for SmackDown. A bunch of guys in the title picture for the Intercontinental Championship. Tag team of Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose against Luke Harper and Bad News Barrett. Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose go over in this match. Pretty entertaining. Good tag team match between the two of them. After the match, Barrett takes out Ziggler with a bull hammer and then gives one to Ambrose. Then Barrett goes for his title from R-Truth, but Ambrose steps in the way, and R-Truth starts strolling off with that Intercontinental Championship again, but once again, Luke Harper stops him from leaving the arena with the title. But this time R-Truth gets one back on Harper. But all of a sudden we got Daniel Bryan's music hitting, and Daniel Bryan has decided to enter himself into the Intercontinental Championship picture. And R-Truth was nice to give another title change and hand it over to Daniel Bryan, but somebody attacked Daniel Bryan from behind. Mr. Stardust. So I guess we don't get Golden Stardust at WrestleMania, huh?
No, I guess we're going to get Golden Stardust in the ladder match. I think it's going from 6-man to 8-man. So...
And no indication that Goldust is going to retire, which is good, because he's never been better, in my opinion.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. All right, let's shift gears to our last chapter of Episode 7 on Lost in the Midcard. We are going to talk about TNA Wrestling. We start out with the Beatdown Clan. They now have a new villain with Drew Galloway. Drew Galloway screwed MVP out of the title match against Bobby Lashley, and I was impressed with Drew's promo, and he took a little shot at the WWE too.
No, Drew's always been good on the mic, and I mean he's a solid in-ring worker. He just ever since his wife gave him that beatdown, or his ex-wife, that SummerSlam weekend, it was never the same for him after that. And I find it really ironic and kind of awkward that they are both working for the same company again. Yeah. I wonder how that's going over backstage.
Who is that again?
His ex-wife who beat the crap out of him is Taryn Terrell.
She was Tiffany?
Yes.
Okay. I did not know that. That was Taryn Terrell.
Yep.
I thought it was a great promo by Drew, and of course he rips the WWE by saying, "This is pro wrestling, not sports entertainment." And, well, we all want pro wrestling as opposed to sports entertainment, us true wrestling fans at least. We get a match with Kenny King. Oddly enough, not Loki, after Galloway had busted him with the pipe. But Drew Galloway gets his first Impact Wrestling win by defeating Kenny King, and of course the Beatdown Clan runs to the ring, but Drew escapes. But, man, did you see Low-Key enter the ring? Holy shit, I've never seen somebody jump into that ring so fast.
Dude, he wants revenge for that shot to the pipe.
That dude was like the Flash and Spider-Man combined getting into that ring. That was insane. And then, of course, he jumps out of the ring and then jumps onto the guardrail as Drew Galloway gets away. Obviously, I think we're going to get a match between Low-Key and Drew Galloway very soon as a grudge match there, thanks to Galloway busting him open with a pipe. We get Matt Hardy and Bram after that, and basically Bram is getting courted by the Revolution to join them, which kind of makes sense, with Matt Hardy being feuding with them, and if he joins the Revolution, and Bram's got the tag team title briefcase, and that's, the Revolution's holding the tag team titles now. That kind of fits into the storyline. Do you know if Jeff is he going to return to Orlando, you think, or are they going to play this off a lot longer?
I think as soon as they're back in Orlando, he'll be back. They pretty much do. So they write him off every time TNA has to go to the UK. because he's not allowed to leave the country because of the drug charges from all those years ago. So they always do something to write him off of TNA television when they go to the UK, and I imagine he'll be back. He'll be back with the company as soon as they do the tapings in Orlando this month.
And yeah, because I was wondering, I thought maybe if Jeff is out for a little while longer, then maybe Matt's Magnus's partner for the tag titles. Who knows? Be interesting to see who he has for his partner. Bram used a distraction to get a low blow on Matt and get the win. And after that, Bram tried to do a post-match attack on Matt Hardy, and Magnus makes his long-awaited return after being left out in an alley there by Bram when he knocked him out with the cue ball. So we get ourselves that big grudge match between Bram and Magnus next week. And so what do you think about Magnus's return?
I thought they dragged it on long enough, so I was happy he was back. As I said, I'm not really feeling Bram as a character, and honestly, I just hope Magnus just gets rid of him for good.
Probably what's going to happen is, yeah. So, do you have any inkling on who he'll have for a tag partner?
Honestly, when he first got it, my obvious prediction was he was going to tag with Bram and win the tag titles, but I don't know who they're going to team him up with now. Maybe Drew. I don't know. I honestly don't have a clue.
Yeah, maybe he gets in. Maybe the Beatdown Clan. Maybe when Homicide returns, maybe him and Kenny King or him and Loki might be a tag team competitors.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Because you have like all year to cash in the briefcase, so it's not like he has to do it immediately.
We get another segment. Rockstar Spud calls out Ethan Carter III. Nobody else, no friends in the ring besides these two. And finally, Spud gets Ethan to accept a match, a hair versus hair match. And is that going to be next week?
Yeah, they said that was next week. Or this, I guess this week now.
the payoff. Well, yeah, true. This week now. That'll be the payoff for a very lengthy feud between these guys. Like I said, I've been entertained with the feud, and I think this will be a good match.
No, it should be good.
TNA Knockouts Championship between Awesome Kong and Taryn Terrell. Basically, one-sided match for most of it. Taryn finally did knock Kong off her feet, but Kong kind of went a little over the line and shoved the referee, which caused a disqualification. Kong continued to do the destruction of Taryn Terrell until Gail Kim stepped out and stopped her. So are we going to see another epic classic between Gail Kim and Awesome Kong?
I would assume a triple threat between the three of them is coming. And I would assume many one-on-ones between Gail and Kong after that.
We another championship on the line, the tag team championships, the Wolves against the Revolution, and this was a very solid tag team match. I thought the Wolves are very impressive, and put them up against the bigger men, and the bigger men, making them look good, I think. And thanks to Matt Hardy, the Wolves are now the tag team champions.
Yeah, I don't think the Wolves should have ever lost the tag titles to the Revolution in the first place. So I think it was TNA kind of righting them wrong there and putting the titles back on them, because they did so much to make the Wolves an important commodity in the feud with the Hardys and Team 3D. And like almost immediately after that, they do the stupid Storm took all year to cash in his stupid tag team title briefcase.
Yeah.
And let the Revolution get the tag titles from there. So I would hope that this was TNA realizing they kind of stunted the growth of the Wolves there, and they put the titles back on them, and let's leave the tag team titles to the real tag teams, because the Revolution's just a shoddy stable group. It's not a legitimate tag team.
Yeah, and like you said, if Jeff Hardy comes back for the Orlando tapings here, we're going to get a phenomenal match between the Wolves and the Hardys.
Absolutely.
Now, what the fuck moment of the day comes by two different instances in the commercial breaks for Destination America, promoting the March 21 match for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship between Kurt Angle and Bobby Lashley. What's the main event from this past Friday's Impact Wrestling, Matt?
The number one contendership to see who would face Bobby Lashley next week.
What the fuck are they doing?
Oops.
Anyways, we know who's winning, but hey,
oops.
Wins and losses don't always mean everything. We got ourselves a great main event, I thought. I loved it. And with Bobby Roode, Eric Young, and Kurt Angle, and basically, well, we pretty much predicted, though, Roode and Young would probably cancel each other out, and Angle would get the win somehow. But I thought it was a great match, though.
Yeah, no, it was a great main event. I mean, they all worked really hard. I mean, but we all knew who was going to win. So, I mean, it wasn't like it was a surprise or anything.
I just don't get why they ran that twice. I think they did it maybe the commercial break before the main event. Woo. So we get Kurt Angle and Bobby Lashley
this Friday night.
Do you think Angle gets over?
I don't. I will plead the fifth on that one.
Now, they said March 20th, so I think it's 2 weeks that match is going to go down, unless the advertising was wrong.
Really? So it's not happening this Friday?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then they definitely have 2 weeks of TV taped.
Yeah.
Because
I'm pretty sure
that's happening. That match happened overseas.
Oh, Lashley and Angle?
Yes. So I mean,
swear they said the 20th. But
okay, well, yeah. Well, if it's not happening this Friday, then they definitely have at least 2 weeks of TV taped. For out there. I thought it was this Friday.
Yeah, not just the fact that they spoiled it. They put it wasn't even next week, which was confusing to me. So, either their marketing screwed up and it is this coming Friday, or they were right and just spoiled the main event and it's coming up later on. Who knows? But that's going to put a bow on Lost in the Midcard Episode 7. I'd like to thank everybody for listening this week. Once again, you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. You can follow us on Twitter at JBHuskers, at RawFShowtime. Also, on our Facebook page, we have an iTunes subscription link that you can get to. Just click on the notes section, and you'll get that, and also our YouTube page. We are hosted by SpiderDuck.net, so we definitely thank SpiderDuck.net for enabling us to be on iTunes. And, Matt, do you have any parting words as we continue on the road to WrestleMania?
Exactly, I was going to say. The road to WrestleMania continues tonight with Raw, and I think it's going to be a make-or-break moment show for the rest of this month. I think a lot of things, right or wrong, that we'll say about WrestleMania in a few weeks, we'll be able to look back at the show that's going to happen tonight as to why things went right or why things went wrong. So I'm really hoping really hoping that WWE delivers an amazing show tonight and really, just really sets the road to WrestleMania on fire, within the next 24 hours. And if not, I think we all have permission to get a little bit panicky on the overall show that's coming at the end of this month.
Yeah, definitely. If the direction is going to seem odd with tonight's Raw, then they might not know what they want to do themselves. So it's going to be definitely a scary proposition. Well, that'll do it for Episode 7 of Lost in the Midcard. And as always, enjoy the coming week of wrestling programming. We'll be back and to deliver you some of the top stories and recap the wrestling shows for the upcoming week on Episode 8. For Matt, this is Jeremy. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.